Hi students, so today we're going to learn something called Punnett squares, and I'm doing it through a video so that you can stop the video or rewind the video or rewatch the video at any time in case you need to review or in case you get lost. So here we go. Punnett squares are these things here that you see in the background, okay? And they have a lot to do with what our unit is about, and that's genetics and how traits are passed down from parent to offspring. So here's our question. Can we predict the traits of offspring? So for example, if we know the father has a gene for black fur, so let's say this is the father, and the mother has a gene for brown fur, can we predict the color of a baby's fur? Is there a way to figure this out ahead of time if we know the genes for the father and mother? That's what we're going to explore today. Now, before we start, I want to define this word probability. You probably have seen this word in math before. Probability is the chance that something might occur. So let's say you have dice and you're playing a game and you want to roll a certain number. Well, if you have one dice, there's 6 sides to a dice, right? Well, you have a 1 out of 6 chance that you'll get a certain number, right? Or if you have a spinner tool, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. If you want any color other than red, you're going to have a 1/8 chance of getting that color. These are examples of probability. Now, what is a Punnett square? A Punnett square is used to figure out the probability or the chances of certain genotypes and phenotypes in an offspring. Now, do you remember that a genotype is a 2-letter code? For example, big B, or little b, big B, big B. These are all examples of genotypes. They're just a code letter, okay? Phenotypes are like physical appearance. So like brown fur, black fur, those are phenotypes. Blue eyes, brown eyes, those are examples of phenotypes, okay? And this right here, this is actually called a Punnett square. And this is what's used to predict the genotypes and phenotypes, and I'm going to show you how. Alright, so we're going to start with this first problem, okay? We're going to do an example with the pea plant. And remember, we've been talking about how Gregor Mendel, he grew pea plants and he was the father of genetics. And so that's why I chose this one, because you're already familiar with the flowers, and we talked about it last time in class. So in peas, the purple color is dominant. So you can see here, here's the dominant purple color, and the white color is recessive. And remember, dominant alleles are the ones that are so powerful that they'll cover up the recessive ones. The recessive ones are the alleles that only show when the dominant one is not there. Okay? Alright, so we're going to assume, okay, that the mom pea has 2 dominant alleles. So look, here's the 2 dominant alleles. This is her genotype, okay? Remember, this is how scientists write genotypes. If it's a dominant allele, it's uppercase. And if it's a recessive allele, it's lowercase. This is review. Okay, so, and her phenotype is purple. And it's purple because she has 2 dominant alleles. Remember, if you have a dominant allele, that dominant allele is going to take over, and whatever that dominant allele is for, it's going to get expressed. So because purple is dominant and she has 2 dominant alleles, she's going to be purple. Okay? Let's look at Dad. Dad's pea has 2 recessive alleles. Remember, recessive is lowercase, so his genotype, is little p, because there's 2 recessive alleles, right? His phenotype is white flowers because he has 2 recessive alleles. And remember, the recessive trait is the trait that's expressed only when there's no dominant. And because he has both recessive here, there's no dominant, he's going to have white flowers. Alright, now we're going to try the Punnett square. So you should have something like this in your notes. Find it. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to write the parent's genotype on the top and the other parent's genotype on the left side. So Dad is going to be on the top, Mom is going to be on the right side. It doesn't really matter who you put on the top and on the left side, but just for our problem, we're going to do that, okay? We're going to put dad at the top, mom at the side. All right, so dad's genotype, do you remember what it was? Dad's genotype was little p, little p. So you're going to write little p here and little p here. And mom's genotype was big P, right? So you're going to put big P here, like that. Okay? Now, okay, and I have to rewrite this. So you should have done something like this on your paper. Okay, now the step 2. You look at the letters here at the top and the side, and you're going to write out the genotypes. And this is how you do it. So you're going to bring this one here, so big P, and you're going to bring dad's down here, little p. Okay? And you're going to keep going. Bring the big one over here, big P, and the little p down here. Like that. And then here you have big P. Mom's going to give a big P. Dad is going to give a little p. And one more time, mom is going to give a big P, and dad is going to give a little p. Now, these represent the possible genotypes the offspring can have. So this is what the parents can give the offspring, potentially, right? And this is the genotype of the offspring, potentially. Now this Punnett Square is just predicting. It doesn't mean that they're going to definitely have everything and everything that's shown in here. It just shows chances and probability. So it says, what are the possible, right? It's possible genotypes of the offspring. And you can see here, there's only one type of genotype. They're all the same. They're big P, little p. So you can just go ahead and put that for the possible genotypes. Okay. Let's keep going. So now step 3, it says, figure out the phenotypes for each box by looking at the genotype. Okay, so let's look at this. Remember the possible genotypes were big P, little p for all 4 squares, right? So how do we know what color it's going to be? The phenotype. How do we know? Well, let's read this. If there's a dominant allele, then the phenotype will be dominant. Remember, dominant alleles are so powerful that they're going to get expressed if it's present, okay? If there's no dominant allele, then the phenotype will be recessive. And remember, recessive alleles only get expressed if the dominant's not there, okay? So in this case, you can see that there's a dominant in every single genotype. Look. So for example, there's a big P here, there's a big P here, big P dominant here, dominant here. So no matter what, they're all going to be this, the dominant color, which is purple. So the possible phenotypes are going to be purple only. There's no way that there can be a white flower. It's going to be purple no matter what. Okay? All right, let's keep going. Now, number 3 asks you, what is the probability for each genotype? So now we're getting into math, okay? So this is how you figure out probability. You might be familiar with this because you might have covered this in your math classes, but if you haven't, I'm going to show it to you right now. So you're going to figure out probability. Remember, probability means the chance. What's the chance of something happening, right? So this is how you do it. You count how many of each genotype there are, and you divide that by 4. So for example, now, the possible genotypes here are big P, little p, big P, little p. They're all the same, right? So they're all going to be big P, little p. So for big P, little p, there are how many big P, little p's? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So there's 4 possible out of 4 total. So that's going to be 4 out of 4. That's actually 100%. 100%. So there's a 100% chance guaranteed that the genotype will be big P, little p. Okay, that's the probability. That's the chance that the genotype will be big P, little p. So no matter what happens, every single baby that these 2 parents make are going to have big P, little p genotype. Okay? Let's keep going. All right, now we're going to figure out the probability of the phenotype. Remember, phenotype is physical appearance. So This is how we do it. Let's look at the phenotypes possible. We have purple here. We have purple here. Purple, purple. All right. So let's see. For purple, we have a purple phenotype. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 purples out of 4 possible. Again, that's 100%. 100% of the offspring will be purple. So no matter what these two parents, what happens, these two parents, if they have babies, they're all going to be purple, right? And we know they're going to be purple because the genotypes here, there's the dominant allele here. The big P is the dominant. And so they're in every single box. So we know that no matter what, it's going to be purple. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop there. And if you need to catch up or if you want to review what we just discussed, go ahead and rewind the video and you can watch it again. Otherwise, click on the next video after this to start the next problem. It's going to be a little bit different from this one.